out Sophie Cunningham, and I guess by default somehow Angel Reese, but I mean, leave it to Angel Reese fans to somehow twist this into some kind of a diss when it was actually sort of a compliment.
A joke about salad has somehow ignited one of the biggest firestorms in the WNBA. One player made a simple comment, and in a matter of hours, the internet descended into a full-blown meltdown filled with accusations of jealousy, racism, and disrespect. But the truth behind what really happened is far more shocking than the headlines let on, revealing a dark side to modern sports fandom that no one wants to talk about.
A huge one I forgot to mention is gluten, which is in every carb pretty much possible. And I know they make like gluten-free stuff, but that shit tastes weird to me. I can still eat chicken. That's good. Yeah, I feel like I'm going to be kind of turning into a rabbit. So I don't know. I guess I'm going to turn into a Victoria's Secret model. Call me Angel Reese.
It all started innocently enough. Sophie Cunningham, a star guard for the Indiana Fever, was filming a casual TikTok about her new diet restrictions. Laughing to the camera, she mentioned she couldn't eat gluten anymore, and then delivered the line that would spark an internet war. She joked, "Guess I'll have to become a Victoria's Secret model. Call me Angel Reese." That was it. That was the entire scandal.
Hey, Angel Reese fans believe that, y'all ain't gonna believe this, believe that Sophie Cunningham, of all people, needs to name drop.
Within minutes, the internet exploded. Angel Reese's fiercely loyal fan base, known for mobilizing like a digital army, went on the attack. They didn't see a joke, they saw a declaration of war. A 10-second clip about food was suddenly being dissected like a crime scene, with fans claiming the line was a vicious insult. They turned a simple comment into a federal case, but what they accused her of was even more insane.
She's a 6-foot-tall, beautiful-ass blonde. You think she needs to name drop Angel Reese for clout? You've got to be joking. Look at all these modeling opportunities, all this stuff she was doing before she even got to the Fever. Nah, y'all mad. Blonde hair, blue eyes, white. Let's be real. That's what.
The first claim to surface was that Sophie was clout chasing. Fans flooded comment sections, screaming that she was desperately using Angel Reese's name for attention. But this narrative falls apart under the slightest scrutiny. Sophie Cunningham is one of the most recognizable faces in the league, with millions of followers and a national ad campaign with Arby's. The idea that a player famous for saying "we have the meats" needs TikTok clicks is absurd, but when that accusation didn't stick, they moved on to something far more damaging.
Headline, quote, "Just a clout-chasing, jealous little girl." Jealous of what? Oh, but the fast food. Okay, I mean, Sophie's got an Arby contract, so yeah.
Suddenly, headlines started appearing out of nowhere, twisting the story into something sinister. Sophie Cunningham shades Angel Reese, one read. Another declared, jealousy erupts in the WNBA. But the most shocking one claimed, racial tension erupts over comment. In the span of a few hours, a joke about gluten had been warped into a story about race relations. All because a blonde player playfully mentioned a black player. That's how quickly the internet's outrage machine can rewrite reality. To build their case, the online detectives went to work digging through years of Sophie's digital footprint to construct their jealous mean girl narrative. They unearthed random tweets from a decade ago, completely stripping them of context. They found photos of her with people who had controversial political opinions, implying she shared them. They even weaponized her likes, creating compilations of posts she had double-tapped as proof she was obsessed. It was a classic online smear campaign, designed to assassinate her character before she even had a chance to speak. They were building a monster out of thin air, and the internet was eating it up. And what this exposed was a terrifying double standard that plagues the league. If someone on Angel Reese's side makes a joke about another star player, it's often celebrated as playful trash talk or competitive fire. But when Sophie Cunningham made a lighthearted comment that was arguably a compliment, it was immediately labeled a microaggression and evidence of deep-seated jealousy. The rules change depending on who is speaking, and in this case, intent was completely ignored in favor of a pre-written toxic narrative. But it gets even darker. The controversy quickly morphed into a full-blown conspiracy theory. Fans began pushing the idea of a white girl alliance, claiming that players like Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark were secretly plotting against black players. They dragged Clark's name into a beef that had nothing to do with her, creating a fake racial war where none existed. The people yelling the loudest about racism were the ones injecting race into a conversation about salad. It was a masterclass in projection, turning a non-event into yet another chapter of a manufactured culture war. While thousands of fans were waging World War III online, the two players at the center of it all remained completely silent. Angel Reese was busy posting glamorous photos from Paris and securing new brand deals. Sophie, meanwhile, was focused on training camp and rehabbing an injury. Neither of them engaged with the drama, proving that this entire war was being fought by fans for fans. But their silence spoke volume. This silence is a calculated move seen across professional sports. Players are often advised by their agents and teams to never engage with online mobs because there is no way to win. If Sophie had defended herself, she would have been accused of being defensive and guilty. If Angel had told her fans to calm down, she might have been seen as weak or ungrateful for their support. So they stay quiet, letting the storm rage while they focus on their careers. But this silence creates a vacuum, and into that vacuum rushes the loudest, most extreme voices, who then claim to speak for the players themselves. The accusation of jealousy is perhaps the most ridiculous part of this whole affair. What exactly would Sophie be jealous of? Angel's modeling career. Sophie literally joked about becoming a model herself and used Angel as the benchmark for success. That is the definition of a compliment. Was she jealous of the fame? Sophie already has a massive fan base and her own lucrative endorsements. The truth is, the jealousy wasn't coming from Sophie. It was being projected onto her by a fan base that can't stand to see anyone else share the spotlight. This incident wasn't just a random flare-up, it was a symptom of a much larger disease spreading through the WNBA, the constant creation of fake rivalries. For months, it was Reese versus Clark, then it was Clark versus Wilson, now it's Cunningham versus Reese. These feuds are almost entirely manufactured by social media and clickbait outlets that thrive on conflict. The players themselves rarely show any real animosity, but the fans are addicted to the drama, and this addiction reveals a much bigger problem. This entire situation is a direct result of the WNBA's explosive growth, with superstars like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark bringing millions of new eyes to the league. The level of scrutiny has become unbearable. Every single tweet, comment, and on-court gesture is now placed under a microscope and analyzed for hidden meanings. While this growth is great for business, it has also attracted a wave of hyper-toxic fandom that thrives on division. The league is getting bigger, but the culture around it is getting uglier. As the backlash grew, the same accounts preaching protect black women were in the comments section tearing Sophie Cunningham apart. They attacked her looks, her voice, and her character, all under the guise of defending Angel Reese. But they weren't defending anyone. They were just looking for a target for their outrage. It's a bizarre form of online activism where bullying someone else feels like supporting your favorite, and it's turning fan culture toxic. This behavior is enabled by one of the internet's most powerful tools. Driving this entire firestorm is an anonymous army of faceless accounts. These aren't real people engaging in good faith debate. They are stan accounts with cartoon profile pictures and no personal information, created for the sole purpose of attacking anyone perceived as a threat to their favorite player. They operate with zero accountability, spamming hate comments, spreading misinformation, and coordinating attacks. They are the foot soldiers in these manufactured wars, and their anonymity makes them incredibly dangerous and effective. This entire meltdown is powered by what's known as the outrage economy. Sports media outlets know that controversy gets clicks, so they clip a single sentence out of a video, slap a shocking headline on it, and watch the engagement roll in. Then come the TikTok analysts, sitting in their cars with dramatic music, acting like they've uncovered a government conspiracy. They whisper about deeper meanings and coded language, turning a simple joke into a complex psychological profile, because nuance is boring, but chaos gets views. What makes this situation so bizarre is the double standards surrounding Angel Reese herself. Her entire brand is built on being an unapologetic trash talker. She taunts opponents, she flexes on them, and it's a huge part of her appeal. Yet, the moment someone else makes even the slightest joke in her direction, her fan base demands complete silence and respect. They want her to be an untouchable queen who can dish it out but never has to take it, which is not how respect works. That's idol worship. Ultimately, this firestorm isn't really about a joke. It's about what Sophie Cunningham represents. She's loud, she's confident, and she has an in-your-face energy that makes certain people deeply uncomfortable. She doesn't apologize for being herself, and she doesn't crumble under pressure. That confidence is a trigger. Fans who feel insecure can't handle a player who is so secure in herself, so they project their own feelings onto her, calling her jealous and arrogant because they can't imagine a woman being that bold without some hidden negative motive. In the end, a joke about gluten exposed a disturbing truth about modern sports. We're living in an era where fan bases are more interested in manufacturing drama than enjoying the game. Logic has been replaced by outrage, and every interaction is twisted to fit a victim-villain narrative. Angel Reese fans weren't protecting their star, they were just feeding a machine that thrives on conflict. So was Sophie Cunningham's comment a harmless joke or a sign of disrespect? The answer doesn't really matter, because in today's online world, the mob decides the story before the truth even has a chance to be heard.